My son or daughter will be a doctor. Man, how many of us have heard that exact phrase echoing around our homes? It's a dream woven into the very fabric of so many families, right? You've just graduated class 10, those board exams are finally in the rearview mirror, and suddenly you or your parents are visualizing this future with a stethoscope around your neck. And honestly, it's an incredibly powerful, totally valid aspiration. But sitting there, staring at this massive mountain of a goal, it's completely natural to wonder, okay, how on earth do I actually make this happen? That gap between the beautiful dream and the reality of sitting in a medical school class can feel, well, like an ocean. But don't worry. Grab a notebook, get comfortable, because today we're going to bridge that gap completely. Welcome to the ultimate roadmaps to becoming a doctor in India. Think of this explainer as your complete step-by-step guide to navigating the next couple of years. And we aren't just tossing around theoretical advice today either. This whole breakdown is grounded in the real lived experience of Dr. Nawaz Hussain. He actually cracked the medical entrance exam in 2020, bagged a state rank of 1301 in the general category, by the way, and is out there living this reality right now. We're going to decode the exact process he used and break it all down into actionable, bite-sized pieces for you.
So here is our game plan. First, choosing your Class 11 subjects. Second, decoding the NEET exam. Third, the power of NCERT books. Fourth, concepts, MCQs, and consistency. And finally, the final steps to MBVS.
Let's kick things off with Section 1, choosing your Class 11 subjects. Right after Class 10, you hit your very first major crossroads. You absolutely must choose the science stream. And listen to me carefully here. These 4 specific subjects are completely non-negotiable. You need physics, chemistry, biology, and English. You've got to pass your higher secondary exams with these 4. Now, I know exactly what some of you are thinking. Wait, what about math? Doesn't everyone say you need math to crack the medical exam? Well, here's the reality check. Math is entirely optional. You can take math, you can take Sanskrit, Marathi, whatever additional subject you want. That's totally your call. But if you are missing physics, chemistry, biology, or English, you simply cannot sit for the medical entrance exam, period. Even if you're an arts or commerce student hoping to pivot later, unless you have these 4 core subjects on your Class 11 and 12 transcripts, those doors are closed. So lock those 4 in right away.
All right, moving to Section 2, decoding the NEET exam.
Once you have your subjects sorted out, literally all your focus needs to shift to one monumental target, NEET, the National Eligibility Cum Entrance Test. It is the mandatory gateway everywhere in India, and I mean everywhere. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in West Bengal, Chennai, Jammu and Kashmir, or Maharashtra. There are no side doors, no alternative state exams, no sneaky ways around it. If you want to practice medicine in India, you absolutely have to conquer NEET. Now let's look at how this exam is built. Out of the total questions, biology accounts for a staggering 90 questions. Physics has 45 and chemistry has 45. Did you catch that? Biology literally makes up half of the entire test, 50%. And notice something missing? There is no English section in the NEET exam itself, even though, like we said earlier, you need it to qualify your boards. So this breakdown tells you exactly where the bulk of your energy needs to go over the next 2 years. And that brings us to a very, very critical number. 180. The NEET exam throws exactly 180 multiple choice questions at you, and you have exactly 180 minutes to solve them. Yep, you did the math. That's an average of 1 single minute per question. It's a test of deep knowledge for sure, but just as importantly, it is a massive test of speed and accuracy under intense pressure. Now, a lot of parents and students stress themselves out trying to balance board exams with NEET preparation. But let's look at the difference between them to relieve some of that anxiety. Board exams are all about securing high percentages, and comparatively, the competition is lighter. NEET, on the other hand, involves intense competition because every single student taking it is fighting for a very limited number of medical seats. But here is the secret. With the new board patterns shifting towards MCQs and semesters, preparing deeply for the highly competitive NEET makes passing your boards incredibly easy. Honestly, if you are training at the NEET level, your board exams will feel like an absolute breeze. Your core focus should undoubtedly be the entrance exam. Which brings us to Section 3, the power of NCERT books. So you're probably wondering, how do you actually train at that elite NEET level? Well, it all comes down to the standard CBSE curriculum books known as NCERT. Now, for students in regional state boards, you might be used to seeing these massively thick, super intimidating local publications that look more like encyclopedias than textbooks. But to become a doctor in India, The NCERT books are the absolute gold standard. These are your foundation. You can definitely read those thick state-board books for extra help, but reading the NCERT is 100% compulsory for NEET. But hey, do not let their size fool you. These books are thin, but they are packed with incredibly deep concepts, especially for biology. The Class 11 and 12 NCERT books might look like a third of the size of your regional books, but every single line matters. There's no fluff, no filler. It literally takes 2 whole years to properly digest these thin books because you have to extract meaning from every single word. You cannot just read them mindlessly. If you sit in your room just repeating, the leaves are green, without actually understanding why they are green, you're going to have a bad time. The questions in NEET are highly analytical. The examiners will literally take a single line from this thin book and twist it just to test your true conceptual understanding.
Okay, Section 4, Concepts, MCQs, and Consistency. This brings us to the grueling but incredibly rewarding daily training regimen you'll need for 2 straight years. Here is your winning strategy. Step 1. Build conceptual clarity. Like we just talked about, blind memorization totally fails against analytical questions. Step 2. Practice daily MCQs. The very moment you learn a new concept, you must test how it applies in a multiple choice format. Step 3. Solve previous year questions, or PYQs. This is crucial because it gives you a clear pattern of what the examiners actually favor. Step 4. Take regular mock tests, ideally offline, to simulate that actual 180-minute pressure cooker of the real exam. And finally, Step 5. Revise multiple times. Daily, weekly, and monthly revisions are absolutely mandatory. Otherwise, your brain is just going to drop the information.
And honestly, the most empowering message of this entire explainer is this: consistency beats talent. It really does. Dr. Niraj himself admits he was just a medium category student when he passed Class 10. He literally never thought he could be a doctor. But you know what? He defeated highly talented peers simply by maintaining relentless daily discipline. If you show up every single day, practice your MCQs every single day, and revise every single day, you will force the talented but maybe a bit lazy students to step aside. Your discipline is hands down your greatest asset. Finally, Section 5, the final steps to MBBS. So, imagine this. You put in the grueling hours, you stay incredibly consistent, and you face the exam. What happens next? Well, here is the exact chronological journey. First, you clear the NEET exam and get your rank. Second, you attend the counseling sessions to see which medical colleges match up with your rank. Third, you secure your MBBS admission, and finally, walk through the doors of a real medical college. And then you complete 4.5 years of intensive study, followed by a 1-year internship right there in the hospital wards. During that internship, you are practically living the life of a doctor, treating patients and applying everything you've spent years learning. This isn't just a dream. This is the exact path happening right now for successful candidates across the entire country.
But remember, climbing this mountain is tough, and you absolutely do not have to do it completely alone. Find your guide. Seek out coaching centers, offline or online mentorship, or structured learning batches. Having a teacher there to break down those dense NCERT lines, setting up regular mock tests, and keeping you accountable week after week, that can make a massive game-changing difference in maintaining your momentum over those 2 years.
So, we've laid out the entire map for you today. We've talked about the subjects, the exam structure, those golden NCERT books, and the daily grind required to beat the odds. The path to becoming a doctor in India is highly structured, and frankly, it is completely achievable if you are willing to just put in the work. The roadmap is right here, right in your hands. So, I'll leave you with this one vital question.